हरि ओम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। Welcome you all to Ola Sanskrita Sahitya Rasaswada lecture series. We are reading Abhijnana Sakuntalam, and I hope this Sunday, today, we will be able to complete the first act after say some 13, 14, 15 lectures, more than 3 months now, and we will be able to complete the first act at least. So the king, inadvertently, he just took out the ring and said, "Oh, it is Rajaparigraha. The king has gifted me this ring, and I will give this to you, and I will release Shakuntala from her debt." Now these two Sakhis, they are wise enough to know that howsoever he tries to, conceal himself, still alamanyatha bhavaitva, alamanyatha vishankya, etc. Still now it is cards to open ho gaye hai. He has been exposed. Howsoever hard he tried to be incognito, he is exposed now. And they read those letters, Anuvacha, they read it for themselves, not loudly, so that Shakuntala is not aware, okay? And then Priyambada very naughtily, mockingly, little sarcastically, she says, "Tenahi na arhati etad anguliyakam anguli viyogam." This we saw last Sunday, how this has so many repercussions, The anguli was separated from the anguliyaka, was separated from the anguli, and that caused all the drama. First of all, Dushyanta, his finger, it didn't deserve the separation from his finger at all. But now he has taken it out. Now he will put it back, but again he will take it out to gift it to Shakuntala later. But then the Anguli Viyoga has caused the problems and the trauma and the agony for Shakuntala when she is expecting a child, In her very critical and very sensitive position, this repudiation of Shakuntala happens. So all that is because of Anguli Viyoga. So na arhati etad anguliyakam anguli viyogam aryasya vachanena eva andruna idanimesha. Now Arya is none else but the king. And when the king has given a word, he will, keep his words. It's king's assurance, not any other layman's assurance. And therefore Priyambada says, Aryasya vachanena eva, that is Maharajasya vachanena eva idanim esha andruna. So she has been freed from her debt. And then kinchid vihasya, mockingly, smilingly, she tells Shakuntala, "Hala Shakuntale, mochitasya anukampita aryena." You have been released by the compassionate, noble person here, the Atithi Vishesha, athava Maharajena, or, so Maharajena, because she has read those letters. And then she says, "Gaccha idanim." So you are free now. I was trying to stop you to repay my debt, dvedharayasi me vrukshasaichane. But now you have been released from that debt. I am no more a creditor, you are no more a debtor, so you are free to go. Gaccha idanim. Atmagatam, Shakuntala says, "Yadi atmanaha prabhavishyami." If at all, I am the mistress of what I want to do. She is so paravasha, not in Dharmacharana. Now going from there also, she doesn't feel like going away from the king's eyesight. And therefore, yadi atmanaha prabhavishyami, if at all I hold some command over myself, I will be able to go. That is atmagatam. That means she doesn't want to go, and therefore she says it to herself. And prakasham, she mocks and rebukes Priyambada, saying, "Katvam visrashtavyasya rodhavyasya va." Who are you to let me go or stop me? Who are you? If I want, I will go. But I don't want to go. Yadi atmanaha prabhavishyami. So this is also a very, tricky position. Now, when she wanted to go, Priyambada stopped her. Now, when Priyambada tells her to go, she wants to stop. She doesn't want to go. So this is a very funny situation now. Raja Shakuntalam Vilokya. Now, there is little hesitation in Shakuntala whether she should proceed towards her kuti or she should stay back. And therefore, Shakuntalam Vilokya, again Atmagatam, he is also thinking, he is also guessing what Shakuntala is thinking, perhaps, what's going on in a mind. And therefore, he says, Kinnu khalu yatha vayam asyam evam iyamapi asman pratisyat. As I am inclined towards her, will she also be inclined towards us? Asman, he is a king. Mam prati. So will she be also attached to me? And therefore she doesn't want to go because there is little hesitation. Even if Priyambada has allowed her to go, she is not going now, right? So this is, Kami Swatam Pashyati. He sees everywhere what and how he thinks about his beloved. The beloved must also be thinking in the same manner. And therefore, if I am thinking of her and I don't feel like going away from her, not taking away my eyes from her, is it that she also doesn't want to go and doesn't want to leave my company? In my presence, she wants to be here because she is more comfortable, because she loves me. All these things, working in his Cheshta Pratirupika Kamijana Manovritti. So this Kamijana Manovritti is like this. As I am thinking about her, will she be also thinking about me in the same manner? Athava Labdhavakasha me prarthana. There is a scope to think, yes, she also thinks in the same lines. My prarthana, my desire, my wish, and whatever is going on in her mind are similar. And then he observes, till now, there is no direct communication, no direct dialogue, conversation between the king and Shakuntala. King is talking, but only the Sakhis, Anasuya and Priyambada, are responding. Shakuntala has not uttered a word, except for, rebuking Priyambada and all. So he has observed the behavior of Shakuntala and he says, yes, there is a scope to think that she also loves me in the same manner. How? Kutaha? Vacham na mishrayati yadyapi madvachobhihi karanam dadatyabhimukham mai bhashamane kaman natisthati madanana sammukhina bhuyishtamanya vishaya natadrishtirasya. Vasanta Tilaka, a very nice verse. I will say it for every verse of Kalidasa, as you know. So, there are four observations, two complaints that that behavior is not favorable, is not sufficient ground for me to infer that she loves me. But there are two observations which oblige me to infer that she loves me. What are they? The first and the third line are like really negative things which are not quite favorable, but the second and the fourth line, the pada, the charanas, are favorable to what Dushyanta is thinking about herself. Vacham na mishrayati yadyapi madvachobhihi. She has not mixed her speech with my speech. Madvachobhihi yadyapi svavacham na mishrayati. She has not mixed. That means she has not replied to any of my conversation, any of my comment. She hasn't stepped in at all. She hasn't pitched in at all. So, vacham na mishrayati yadyapi madvachobhi. Still, the observation is what? So, this is not favorable, that there is no direct communication. But still, yadyapi, still, what is the observation? Karanam dadati abhimukham mai bhashamane. Karanam dadati abhimukham mai bhashamane. Karanam dadati, she gives, she lends her ear. Abhimukham, towards me. Now, karana and mukha, these are, two bhinna, different organs. Karana is ear, mukha is your mouth, right? But abhimukham da, this is a phrase. Karanam dadati abhimukham. Abhimukham da, that is to give attention to. Okay, to give attention to. So, though she is not mixing her speech, her words with my words and my speech, she pays attention to me when I am speaking. Mai bhashamane. While I am speaking, she is all ears to listen to me. Like I was telling last Sunday about Parvati Leela Kamalapatrani Ganayamasa, but all ears to the conversation between Narada and Himalaya, her father, right? And therefore this girl also, Shakuntala also, though she has not uttered a single word as a reply to my speech, she hasn't mixed her words with my words, she hasn't responded to my speeches yet. When I am speaking, she is all attention. She is very, very attentive. So, Karanam dadati abhimukham. So, this is like, a transferred epithet. You can say by Lakshana, Karanam abhimukham dadati. That means she pays attention to. So, this is not a abhidha artha. You don't have to take exactly the literal meaning that she lends her ear to my face or my mouth while I am speaking. Not exactly that, but while I am speaking, she is very attentive. She pays attention to my speech. So this is her reciprocation in a subtle manner, in a very indirect manner. But that indirect suggestion, those indirect indications oblige the king to deduce, a conclusion that she also feels that sort of love for me. Okay. Kamam na tisthati madanana sammukhina. She doesn't stand face to face with me. Agreed. Kamam. Agreed that she doesn't stand face to face or her face fully turned towards me. She is a marriageable age girl. She has little feeling for, tapovana virodhi vikara emerging in her mind, and inwardly she is all, affection and love for this handsome guy, handsome person. But her decorum makes her, downcast her eyes and not face to face looking in the eyes like, oh, who are you? I love you too. It's not like that. So, kamam na tisthati, agreed, granted that she doesn't stand her face fully turned towards me, mad anana sammukhina, in front of me, turning her face in front of me. Yet, what is the observation? Bhuyishtamanya vishaya natu drishtirasyaha. Because she hasn't turned her face and facing me directly, am I to suppose that she is looking at something else? No. Bhuyishtham anya vishaya asyaha drishtihi na. Her drishti is not on any other object but myself. Though she is not looking at me directly in my face, yet wherever she pretends to look at, her eyes are directed towards me. That means he doesn't say it directly. He says, asyaha drishtihi na anya vishaya. That means, mad vishaya eva asyaha drishtihi. Bhuishtham, for all this time I have been observing on every occasion, whenever I am speaking something, be it to Anasuya or Priyambada, she is glancing me with the corners of her eye. That is what he means to say. This is not once or twice or thrice. Bhuyishtham. for many times. So, Bhuyishtamanya Vishaya, for the most part, while she is here and I am here seated on this Shilatala, I have observed that she is not looking at anything else but me. So, that is a suggestion. This is not directly conveyed by the king, but these are his observations, and rightly so. Every lover will have these observations which are favorable to him. He will neglect the unfavorable ones, and the favorable ones only he will accept because they are, in line with what are his thoughts about her. Bhuyishtamanya Vishaya. Bhuyishta, Abhirupa Bhuyishta, Yam Parishad, etc. Bhuyishta is a word very commonly used by Kalidasa elsewhere as well. Nepatye. Now this will go on like this. How long? The king is there, the two girls are there, and aankhein chura rahe hai, but still they want to see each other, and this is a very embarrassing and awkward position. Nobody is talking directly to each other, but both of these, the hero and the heroine, want to be in the company. But how long if they are not exchanging any conversation? This has to end. The meeting has to come to a closure. Now it can't come to a closure abruptly, There has to be some nimitta, and that nimitta is provided. And that is so logical, you see. We have already seen that when the king enters this, he says that he chasing that mriga, Griva Bhanga Bhiramam. You remember that verse? Some 2-3 months back we read that. And he says to the Sarathi that we have come far away from the other troop. Okay, so they have come far away. Then he has asked Senapati to be seated and make the horses drink water and all. Ardra Prishthan Kuru Ashwan, etc. Until then, let me pay a humble visit to the ashrama, because the two hermit boys, they said that Nati Duram Kanva Munehe Ashramaha, and therefore let me go and pay my tribute to him and come back. So all that must have taken some time. By that time, the soldiers who are in the retinue of the king with so many horses, so many chariots, there is a Senapati also. Senapati will be obviously in a chariot. So they all have come in search of the king. So they were left far behind, and now they must have come near, and because of there are so many horses in the troop, there may be some riders, horse riders, and there may be some chariots, that's all. So in the Nepatya, somebody who is on the outskirts of the ashrama, he has noticed that so many people are coming with so many horses, and he has to caution and alarm the inmates, the residents of the ashrama, to take care of their pets, to take care of the younger resident people and all that. Bho bho tapasvinaha, in the Nepatya. Bho bho tapasvinaha sannihitaha tapovana sattvarakshayai bhavata. You be close to the ashrama kutis where you are staying. Sannihitaha bhavata, you be close. For what? Tapovana sattva rakshayai. Rakshayai, for the protection of the sattva, the beings in the tapovana. The beings could be the bipeds as well as quadrupeds, the pets, the mriga, etc., as well as the residents. And why so? What is the reason for that? You be near and don't go away for fetching samidha or phala aharanaya, etc. Don't go away. Be near. Why? Pratyasannaha kila mrigaya vihari parthivo dushyantaha. So this becomes very clear now, that anuvachana which they have done, in the Nepatya, it's a clear-cut announcement that Dushyanta is pratyasanna, is very near the ashrama. The people who are announcing, they don't know that he is already in the ashrama. Okay, Pratyasannaha khalu mrigaya vihari raja dushyantaha. Mrigaya vihari. Mrigaya is like a vihara, strolling, wandering in, in a jestful manner, vihara. So mrigaya for the kings, for the kshatriya, is like a diversion. In the second act, we will come to see, when Senapati glorifies the mrigaya as a krida for the kshatriya. In the Dasharupaka, Dandin also has, verses on the mrigaya kridayaha labha. What are the labhas? What are the benefits of mrigaya? So mrigaya vihari parthivo dushyantaha pratyasannaha. And how do they know this? They might have encountered and interacted with some people who are foot soldiers, right? But there are so many people and so many horses, and the apparent effect is seen by the tapasvis in the sense turagakhurahatas tatha hi renuhu vitapa vishakta jalardra valkaleshu patati parinataruna prakashaha shalabha samuha iva ashramadrumeshu. Ashramadrumeshu renuhu patati. Okay, this is the main sentence. Renuhu, the dust falls, patati, on the trees of the ashrama. Ashramadrumeshu renuhu patati. How is this renu? Turagakhurahataha. There are two visheshanas of this renu, the dust, two adjectives. One adjective is, this is raised by the hooves of the horses. Turaga-khura. Khura is hoof. So many turagas, hooves, plural. Turagakhurahata. I mean, when they are, घोड्यांच्या टापांनी उडालेली धूळ. That is how you can say it in Marathi. Turagakhurahata. Striking against the soil so that it raises up. By what? The khura, the hooves of the turaga. So turagakhurahataha renuhu. Another adjective is parinata aruna prakashaha. This is phuta, prakasha, clearly seen as parinata aruna. Parinata aruna, the setting sun. The setting sun, parinata, it has ripened now, the sun, and it is going to be setting now in the western direction, pratichyam. And how it looks reddish in color? Similarly, this dust is reddish in color. Now, how can the dust be reddish? This is the soil near the ashrama, which is reddish perhaps. It is not a concreted place, not a paver blocked place. So the soil, the mud, as it is nearby the trees and nearby the ashrama, it's all red. It could be red, it could be black also. Krishna or Lohita normally, and sometimes it is Harita, that is yellow also, Hiranya Ruch, the soil. But here it is Lohita, and therefore the dust raised by the hooves of the horses, which is reddish in color, as red as the color of the setting sun, that falls on the ashramadruma. There is a visheshana for ashramadruma. Kidrusheshu ashramadrumeshu renuhu patati iti chet vitapa vishakta jalardra valkaleshu. On the trees, on the vitapa of which, on the branches or the boughs of which, jalardra valkala are visheshena sakta, are clinging, the moist or the wet bark garments of the residents of the ashrama. Now we have seen it earlier also that the bark garments being very thick, it is the tree bark, the garment is made up of that. It can't be squeezed, nichoda nahi jata, pura pani nikala nahi ja sakta, and therefore they are hung, on the branches of the trees for drying up. So, how are these ashramadrumeshu? Now again coming back. Ashramadrumeshu renuh patati. Kidrusheshu ashramadrumeshu vitapa vishakta jalardra valkaleshu. Vishakta has nothing to do with visha. Okay? It is vi upasarga purvaka sanja dhatu. Sanja. So, sakta, clinging. Visheshena, visakta. They are clinging to the branches of the trees because they are wet, they are moist. If they are dried, they will fall down. Okay, there are no clips etc. to the bark garments, and when they get dried, they will automatically drop down or fall down. But here they are visheshena sakta because jalardra valkaleshu. And therefore, vitapa vishakta jalardra valkaleshu ashramadrumeshu parinata aruna prakashaha turagakhurahataha renuhu patati. Like what? There is an upama. Shalabha samuha iva. Like a cloud of locusts. If you have seen locusts, the matachi we say in Sanskrit, we means in Sanskrit it is said matachi hateshu kurushu pradesheshu in Chandogya Upanishad. So, midichi in Kannada, Innal hogiyo midicham bhatta. My grandmother used to tell us a story of midicham bhatta. Some other time I will also tell you. So, matachi, tol in Marathi, tolodhad in Marathi, and that tolodhad, when it comes, it settles on the entire farm like a cloud, and it eats up all the ripe grains. So when tolodhad comes, the farmer just cries and laments because all his harvest has been eaten, all his crops have been eaten up by the locusts. So the locusts, they don't come in 1 or 2 or 50s or 100s, they come in thousands. And when they travel together in the sky, they look like a great cloud. So Shalabha Samuha, it's a cloud of the locust settling on the farm. Similarly, this Turaga Khurahata and Parinata Aruna Prakasha Renu is settling down on the ashramadruma like the locust. That means no trees are seen, no bark garments are seen, everything has become dusty. Everything is rendered to red color because of that red dust raised by the hooves of the horses. Swabhavokti alankara and upama alankara also, right? So Shalabha Samuha Iva. So see the observation, in the upama also there are observations of the poet. Otherwise it will become utpreksha. If it is only a fancied comparison becomes an utpreksha. A realistic comparison becomes upama. Okay. So that's why for utpreksha it is said kavi praudhokti. It is the praudha ukti of the author of the kavi through his imagination. It's imaginative. It is fanciful idea, not real. Okay. But here it is real and therefore it is upama. Shalabha samuha iva ashramadrumeshu patati. I hope it's clear. Apicha. And then there comes very beautiful another verse, very, very significantly used. Vignaiva tapasaha, murta vignaiva tapasaha, that dharmaranyam pravishati gajaha syandana lokabhita. Here is a description of an elephant. That elephant, he is from the nearby jungle, nearby forest. Okay. Now the king has set out for Mrigaya. So the forest animals are also disturbed. The Aranyakaha, Pashavaha are also Pariyakulaha. So one such elephant, he he is frightened to see so many people and their war cries also. No, when normally king sets out for Mrigaya, for hunting, there are war cries. Ran uthavtat mantat na in Marathi. Ran uthavne. So that the prey would come in the sight and the king can hit it with an arrow. So all these things would be there. So much shorgul would be there. So much hue and cry would be there. And near the ashrama, it's all very calm, serene, tranquil, silent. And now all of a sudden, so many people coming for hunting, and therefore the Aranyaka Pashu also gets disturbed. Especially Syandana Aloka Bhita. Seeing so many Syandanas and the Turagas, one such elephant got disturbed. And he has started running here and there, helter-skelter. Just imagine, from the forest land, he is coming near and near to the ashrama territory. In the forest, there will be a thicket of creepers, Vratati, Lata, Vallari. So when that elephant is running around, all those creepers would be, clinging to his fat pillar-like legs, and that would try to fetter him, bind him to one place. But the elephant is already disturbed. He wants to get removed all these clutches and run. So how terrible it would look, that elephant. It would look very terrible. Now secondly, because of his running, whatever trees are coming in between, they will be felled by the Padaghata. The elephant, they would just kick it with the trunk, with the front feet, with the hind feet and all that. So, Tivraghata Pratihata Taruskandha Lagnaikadantaha Padakrishta Vratati Valaya Sanga Sanjata Pashaha Murto Vignas Tapasa Ivano Bhinna Saranga Yuthaha Dharmaranyam Pravishati Gajaha Syandana Lokabhitaha. Beautiful, picturesque description of a wild elephant who is enraged by these city people, by bringing in their chariots and all that. Tivra Aghata Pratihata. So with his Tivra Aghata, with his striking of violently, with his violent blows of his trunk or tusk or his feet, he is falling down the trees, that elephant. Tivra Aghata Pratihata Taru. While doing so, Skandha Lagnaika Dantaha. Now there are so many interpretations for this. Skandha Lagnaika Dantaha, Ekadanta, one of the tusks of the elephant, has got pierced into Skandha. Now what is this Skandha? Skandha is a shoulder, but now the previous word is Taru. So Taruskandha is the trunk of the tree. Taruskandha is the trunk of the tree, which looks like, the feet of the elephant. So now Skandha Lagnaika Dantaha, if you split this word as two words, Tivraghata Pratihata Taru, one, and Skandha Lagnaika Dantaha, some interpreters, they have given the meaning that the elephant's tusk is piercing one of his skandha, one of his shoulders, because he is looking back at the Syandana. Like the first Griva Bhanga Viramam Muhur Nipatati Syandane Baddha Drishtihi, the Harina, the Mriga was Syandane Baddha Drishtihi, every now and then looking back how far is the chariot and trying to run ahead in front, Like that, some people say that this elephant is also looking back to see the Syandana, and while doing so, the tusk moves and touches its shoulder, Like this, it moves and therefore it touches its shoulder. That is one interpretation. Skandha you can take as Taruskandha. In his wild rage, when the elephant is going to fell down the trees violently, maybe one of the tusks gets, thrust into the trunk of the tree. So, Taruskandha Lagnaika Dantaha. There is another variation here. Taruskandha Bhagnaika Dantaha. Instead of Lagna, it is Bhagna. So, one tusk is broken and he has become Ekadanta now. The elephant's one tusk is broken because he is wild elephant, number one. He is afraid, he is frightened, number two. He is running violently and wildly, and in that wild running, he is felling down the trees, not aware of what he is doing, and therefore that tusk got thrust into the trunk of the tree. When he tries to remove it, the tusk gets in there only, and therefore it adds to his violence all the more. One tusk is broken. So, three different interpretations. Skandha Lagnaika Dantaha, and for that, Mr. Kale quotes Palakapya's Hasti Shastra. Palakapya was a sage who wrote Hasti Shastra or Hasti Ayurveda. So, in the Hasti Ayurveda it is said, for an elephant it is difficult to turn to his left side. Normally elephants turn to the right side. This is by observation. I am not an authority to comment on that. I am just quoting Palakapya, which is quoted by M.R. Kale. So, quoting Palakapya, he says that the elephant turns to the right, and therefore to the right side the tusk is, thrusting or piercing his shoulder, and therefore it gets wounded. The elephant gets wounded and becomes all the more violent. So, all these things, whatever it be, Taruskandha Lagna, Taruskandha Bhagna, or Taru is one and Skandha Lagnaika or Skandha Bhagnaika Danta, whatever interpretations you take, that adds to the wildness and the violence of the elephant. It becomes all the more enraged. Okay, and secondly, to enrage that elephant, the thicket of these, the creepers which are binding him, he wants to run away, and the creepers are binding him, they are causing as if fetters in his legs, and therefore he becomes wilder all the more. So, two karanas there, for his wildness. So, Pada Akrishta Vratati Valaya, the coils of the creepers and their coils, Vratati Valaya, Asanga, plus Sanja Dhatu, like Vishakta we saw, V plus Sanja, here also Samanta, all his four legs are fettered, are like entwined into the circular creepers. So, Ahasanga, and therefore Sanjata Pasha, as if a fetter, a shrunkhala, a chain is being created around his feet. So, just split the word and everything becomes crystal clear. So, Pada Krishta Vratati Valaya Asanga, clinging, Sanjata Pasha, and the first line is Tivra Aghata Pratihata Taruskandha Lagnaika or Bhagna Ekadantaha. That's why he has been rendered to Ekadanta. And Skandha Magnaika Dantaha is also there is one Lagna, Bhagna and Magna. Another variation Kale gives, Skandha Magnaika Dantaha. So, Magna is also like lean in that, thrusted into the trunk. So, such an elephant, Sanjata Pasha and Ekadantaha, Murto Vignaha, he is, Vigna, he is an obstacle incarnate in bodily form. Obstacle, Vigna, in the bodily form. Obstacle for what? Tapasaha, for the tapas. These are all tapasvi jana. Bho bho tapasvinaha. The announcement goes as tapasvi jana, right? So he will cause verily an impediment, a calamitous position, this is to our tapas, to our austerity. And he has already done what? Bhinna saranga yutha, because seeing this, such a wild elephant running, a huge gigantic body, 10 feet height and 10 feet long, I mean, such a gigantic body running with ekadanta and moving his trunk wildly. How the saranga, the deer, they will be scattered here and there, they will be running away. So, bhinna saranga yutha. In the youth, in the group of these deer, in that group of the deer, some deer would flee there, some would run here, some would go behind. Bhinna saranga yutha. The saranga, the deer, always go in a troop, in a group, right? But then, bhinna saranga yutha saha tapasaha murtaha vignaha, eva, as if. This is utpreksha, as if impediment in bodily form. Pravishati gajaha, he is entering where? Dharma aranyam, the aranya which is dharma. Dharmartham aranyam, dharmaya va aranyam, dharmasya sadhanam aranyam. Anyhow you can break the compound, It is dharmaya chaturthi or madhyama padalopi, dharma sadhanam, dharmasya sadhana bhutam aranyam. So here people are practicing austerities and all. And he is entering this syandana lokabhitaha. Syandana alokabhitaha, frightened at the sight of syandana, that is ratha, chariot. So swabhavokti, what a beautiful swabhavokti. Syandana lokabhitaha, then ekadantaha, because of tivraghat taruskandha lagna ekadantaha, then padakrishta vratati valaya asanga sanjata pashaha, idrishaha gajaha, vignas tapasaha vigna iva murtaha ayam gajaha. Idanim, one more visheshana, bhinna saranga yuthaha, satya gaja dharmaranyam pravishati ataha bho bho tapasvinaha sannihitaha bhavata. Don't abandon your little ones or your pets, be there to protect. Beautiful, beautiful swabhavokti and bhayanaka rasa as well. This is like Griva Bhanga Viramam is quoted as an illustration of Bhayanaka Rasa by Mammata in Kavya Prakasha. This could also serve as a Bhayanaka Rasa. The Ashraya is Gaja, the Vishaya is Syandana. In the Alambana Vibhava, Kim, Rasasya Ashrayaha Gajaha. He is Bhayabhita, Syandana Lokabhitaha. And what are his anubhavas, what are his vyabhicharis, all you can see here. Like Padaghata, Padakrishta, then Skandha Lagnaikadantaha, all these are anubhavas, his actions. Bhinna Saranga Yuthaha, that is also causing the group of the deer go helter-skelter. So that is also anubhava. And so many vyabhicharis would be there. There would be like bhaya is the sthayi bhava, of course, but then there will be like shrama, because all these anubhavas will exert this gaja. You go through the list of the 33 vyabhichari bhavas or sanchari bhavas and you can put across this sthayi bhava, some such sanchari bhava which go along with sthayi and which heighten the sthayi. The Uddipana Vibhava could be Sanjata Pashatva. The Vratati Valaya Asanga is the Uddipana, right? that heightens its wildness and violence. So this is how you can do the rasa analysis. Find out the sthayi bhava first, the ashraya lambana vishaya lambana in the alambana vibhava, then the uddipana vibhava, then what are the bodily actions, anubhava, what are the fleeting feelings, the vyabhichari bhava. When all these come together, there is rasotpatti. Vibhava-anubhava vyabhichari sayogad rasa nishpattihi, as Bharata says. Okay, so this could also be quoted as a good example of bhayanaka rasa. Sarvaha, now all these girls are also sarvaha, all three of them. Karanam dattva kinchidiva sambhrantaha. They are not here confused, they are frightened. Sambhranta, earlier we saw, it is perplexed or confused, but here they are really frightened, they are alarmed, somewhat alarmed by hearing this. And Raja says now, oh, Ghadzala, all these soldiers must have come in search of me. Aho dhik, fie upon these people. The Pauraha, it should be Sainikaha. There is another Pathabheda. The city people won't come. There would be the soldiers, coming with the king. And if it is Sainika, then it goes very well logically also, because they will have their war cries, this, that. And some Paura, of course, because the tribals, these are the Pauras, because they help the king, Ran Uthwala Madat Kartat na, Adivasi Lok, Vanvasi Lok. So Paura is also okay, but Sainika is preferred by most of the commentators here. Ahodhik Pauraha athava Sainikaha asmad anveshinaha, who have come in search of us. And so they may not be Paura. Those who have come in search may be Sainikas. Tapovanam uparundanti. They are disturbing the ashrama. Tapovanam, the penance grove. Tapovanam, tapase vanam iti. The vanam meant for austerity. Bhavatu pratigamishya tavat. So I will have to go back, because otherwise they will enter this and everything will be disturbed. Before that, I will have to go back. So this is Atmagatam. But the Sakhya, these two girls, every time, they are having the conversation with the king. Arya, they are not addressing him as Maharaja, okay, though they know that he is Maharaja. They have been continuing with that Sambodhana of Arya. Arya, anena aranyaka vrittantena paryakulaha smaha. We are little frightened because of aranyaka vrittanta, hearing the account of the wild elephant. Aranyaka, aranye bhavaha aranyakaha. It is not regarding the forest, it is regarding the wild animal, that elephant. Otherwise, forest is not new to them. But when something goes, really very fearful, then they have to be frightened. Otherwise, Upavana and Vana are nearby. So, anena aranyaka vrittantena, because of this account of wild elephant, we are really frightened. Anujanihi naha utajagamanaya. So please allow us to go to our own kuti, our own house, hermitage, our cottage. Sa sambramam Raja. Hurriedly he says, yes, please, kachantu bhavatya. He is also worried about their safety. And as a king also, and as a lover also now. So gachantu bhavatya. Here sa sambramam. See, sa sambrama, everywhere, according to the context, you have to interpret it. Here hurriedly he says, sa sambrama, hurriedly, yes, please go forward. Vayamapi ashrama pida yatha na bhavati tatha prayatishyamahe. I will also try. Vayam, because he is a king. So vayamapi prayatishyamahe, we will take every effort to see that ashrama is not disturbed at all. Okay. Sarve uttishtanti arya asambhavita atithi satkaram. They have not given any hospitality to him, not even water, right? Only padya was there, but nothing as Atithi Satkara. So asambhavita Atithi Satkaram Bhuyaha api Prekshana Nimittam Lajjamahe Aryam Vidnyapayitum. When you are here for the first time, we could not render you the due hospitality. How can we ask you to come and visit us again and again? So, punaha prekshana nimittam, bhuyaha api prekshana nimittam, vidnyapayitum vayam lajjamahe. We are ashamed to invite you to visit us again, to see us again, because we could not give the due for you for the first time when you came. Mama evam darshanena eva bhavatinam puraskritosmi. I am honored by your darshana. Anasuye, Shakuntala says, now it is the time to go now. So long she was hesitant whether to go or not to go. No? And katvam visarjayitavyasya rodhanasya va. That is how she rebuked Priyambada. But now this Aranyaka Vrittanta has created fear in their minds. So they have to go, to be safer, they have to go back to their cottages. So Shakuntala says, now they start going hurriedly. Shakuntala wants to linger behind for some time, just to have a last look at the king. And Anasuye, Abhinava Kushasuchya Parikshatam me Charanam Kurabaka Shakha Parilagnam cha Valkalam Tavat Paripalayatamam Yavad Etad Mochayami. So beautiful. Raja Ravi Verma has painted a picture on this. This line has so many creative concepts. So Raja Ravi Verma, the famous Kerala Varma dynasty here, Travancore, he has painted a picture on this. Shakuntala wants to linger behind, and therefore she tells Anasuya, not Priyambada, because Priyambada will make a mockery of everything. She knows whom to address this. So Anasuye, Paripalayatamam, she is addressing both of you. Please wait upon me, please wait for me till I get myself released, What two things she is stuck. Where? Parikshatam me charanam. There is Abhinava Kushasuchi, the Kusha grass, which is as sharp, the tip of the tapering Kusha grass, the tip is as sharp as a needle. And therefore Abhinava Kushasuchya me charanam parikshatam. The other two went from the same path. Nothing happened to them. But her charana got pierced by that thorny or needle-like blade of grass called Kusha. Kusha grass, Kusha is a variety of a grass, and it is very pointed, and therefore the word Kushala, this is my favorite example, I quote it every time whenever the word Kusha or Kushala comes. Kushan lati iti Kushalaha. One who brings Kusha grass is Kushala. What is the meaning of Kushala in Sanskrit or our regional languages? It is skilled, dexterous, okay? Skilled, nishnataha, praveenaha, patuhu. Why it means so? Because to pluck the Kusha grass without getting hurt and without a drop of blood coming from your fingers is really a skilled job. And therefore one who cuts the Kusha grass without getting hurt himself is a skilled person. And therefore Kushala, the metaphorical meaning of Kushala is skilled one, but the primary lexical meaning, etymological meaning of Kushala is one who brings Kusha grass. Okay? And therefore no wonder her foot got pierced by that Kusha, which is as sharp as needle. So she has to take that out. There is some drop of blood there, so she has to take care, little do that and then go ahead. So that is one thing. Another, because there is no thorn which has gone into the food. It is Kusha Suchi. It is only the Kusha grass which has pierced her. So there is no thorn. If it is thorn, then she will have to sit and, take out the thorn, kantake naiva kantakam. That will take a longer time. But for that, there is no that much time is not there. So only this parikshatam me charanam. And secondly, kurabaka shakha parilagnam cha valkalam. And in the kurabaka is a thorny bush. It's a thorny bush, korhanti in Marathi, and that is quite likely because in the vana and for fencing it is used normally, korhanti. So her valkala is stuck in that thorny bush. Kurabaka shakha parilagnam cha valkalam tavat paripalayatamam yavat mochayami. Yavadetat mochayami, till the time I get my bark garment released from that and my parikshata charana, I just tend it. Please wait for me. And Shakuntala rajanam avalokayanti savyajam vilambya sahasakhibhyam nishkranta. So savyajam, under the pretext of this, it is not really Shakha Lagna, it is not Parikshata Charana. She is pretending as if, all these things are happening to her. So, Rajanam Avalokayanti, looking back at the king from left or right. She is not an elephant. She is not an elephant to look only from the right side. So, Rajanam Avalokayanti, Savyajam Vilambya, lingering there for a while, delaying her departure for a while, Sakhibhyam Nishkaranta. The Sakhis are waiting there and then she goes with them. Raja now has to go. He has to go and stop the Sainikas from entering the ashrama. Mandautsukhyosmi Nagaragamanam Prati. I don't have any, my heart doesn't desire to go back to the city at all. I want to stay here only. Manda autsukyaha asmi nagaragamanam prati. Yavad anuyatrikan sametya, but anuyatrika who are following me, na atidure tapovanasya niveshayeyam, but let me encamp them not very far from the ashrama. Na atidure tapovanasya. Na atidure, there is a pathabheda, durena, little away. Why could all those soldiers be not far from the ashrama? They should be far, otherwise they will cause some trouble and disturbance, right? So durena pathabheda is good, but nati dure is accepted by everybody else. Nati dure tapovanasya niveshayeyam. Let them camp, little far away from the ashrama so that there is no disturbance from them. Na khalu shaknomi, and I will also have to go. He is out for the mrigaya. The mrigaya is not yet over. So he will be encamping somewhere, in the vana till his mrigaya krida is over. But na khalu shaknomi Shakuntala vyaparat atmanam nivartaitum. But I can't take away my heart from Shakuntala's thoughts. Atmanam Shakuntala vyaparat nivartaitum na shaknomi. And then comes a beautiful verse, the last verse of this act. Gacchati puraha shariram. He also sets, he also goes. Puraha gacchati shariram. My body moves ahead. Gacchati, mark the word gacchati. Dhavati paschad asamstutam chetaha. While the asamstutam, restless mind, asamstutam, not steady, unsteady, restless mind, dhavati, runs behind. Body, gacchati, manaha, dhavati, back where Shakuntala has gone. He is going in the opposite direction. They have gone to the Kutaja, he is going to the other end of the ashrama where the vana starts. So, gacchati puraha shariram, dhavati paschad asamstutam chetaha. Asamstutam, there is a pathabheda, asamsthitam, not very steady, not calm, not tranquil. Like what? There is an upama. Chinaushu kamiva ketoho prativatam niyamanasya. This is also a practical example. On 15th August and 26th January, perhaps we have this experience. We take the tiranga, the flag post in our hand and go. If the wind is blowing this side, we go ahead, but the flag flutters behind, right? So, prativatam niyamanasya. If the vata is this side, even if you are going ahead, the flag will flutter at the back side, fluttering heavily, fast, quickly. So, like that, it has happened for him. His body is moving ahead, but his mind, very restless, like the flag, shaking, very restless. And it is going behind to Shakuntala, like what? Chinam shukamiva ketoho. Ketu is the flag, and the flag, the cloth of the flag is made up of the China silk. Chinam shuka. China anshuka. Anshuka is the silk cloth. China silk. So the China silk has been there right from Kalidasa's times. So it is the vyapara, the trades have been going on through that silk route. We know that silk route and all. So the Chinese people used to come from that southwest passes. So China Ushukamiva Keto, very practical example, and we can experience this, and we can also empathize with the king that he has to leave that ashrama. Now the love has not fructified. We are all left in a doldrum. What will happen next? If the drama has to proceed, there have to be some actions. Now here Shakuntala has gone to her Kutaja, and Dushyanta will going on for the Mrigaya, and then thereafter to the Nagara. What will happen to the love story? Wait till we come to the second act, right? So this is how Nishkrantaha Sarve Prathamaha Ankaha. So the first act gets over after a long time now. Second act we look forward to, and we will meet Vidushaka in the second act for the first time. In all other dramas of Kalidasa, Vidushaka is seen with the king right from the first entry of the king. Here, he is kept away, deliberately so, by Kalidasa. What are the significances of that? We will learn it when we come to the fifth act. Till then, we don't know why Vidushaka is kept away by Kalidasa. So let us wait to start the new act with new fervor, and I hope you have all enjoyed the first act for all these hours, and you keep enjoying it further as well. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.